Hello everyone, OSW-Sim-Sports here, back again with another video, this time a daily on Monza. And here we go for the start. We started in 16th position, but as you will see, we will very quickly make up a lot of ground. I am alongside the Beamer here, just following him on the outside, and as you can see, it was a great decision. As you can see, the gaggle of the cars all closing up. I am in the Aston behind the BMW, and you can see here I'm looking for space in the middle. Everyone is stop starting, just looking for space, trying not to have any contact. And as you can see, I make it through quite cleanly somehow. Just a little bit of contact with the Beamer, but nothing major. As you can see, there's a little bit of rear bumper damage. But look at that, I am in 6th position. So we made up 10 positions in just the first chicane. As I get alongside the Porsche here, I think better of it, as he was kind of cutting me off. Fair play, to be honest. As I am completely messing up my gears, as I was looking at the standings at this point, I was like, wait, what? How am I in 6th position? But the carnage in the first chicane was so big that I just somehow drove through cleanly and passed 10 cars, just like that. So in this point of the race, it is very important to lock in, find your pace. I knew these guys in front would be way quicker because this is split one. They have been practicing quite a bit, and I just went into this race without any practice really. Just went into qualifying and then the race. So yeah, that's also why I was qualified in 16th position. As we actually managed to stay in the draft of Porsche here, which is very good, as this offers some defense to the McLaren behind me. And most likely, as I overtook so many cars at the start, a few of the cars behind me will be way quicker than me. And as you can see, this McLaren guy is one of those. He is really quick, and I have to stay in the draft of this Porsche in order to be safe. As we get a great run on the Porsche, actually, we go around the outside, and I thought I was good here, but look at the McLaren. He goes honestly just too deep on the brakes, but he fucks himself here, and I say goodbye, thank you very much. The Porsche thought better of it, and he just cut off the corner in order to stay alive. Fair play to him, but it also loses him a ton of speed here. And now it's mainly a case of seeing if I am able to close the gap back up again to the Porsche ahead. As I go deep into the right-hander, I get on a massive slide. I have to catch the slide. I do manage to save it, but I do get into the sand. The McLaren now very close behind me. He does think better of it. We have no contact, very good. As we head here up now to the technical complex of Monza. Very important to get your braking in early so you can coast here to the corner. And as you can see, I messed it up a little bit here. I don't have enough speed through the corner. I'm not coasting enough through the corner. And you can see how much the McLaren just instantly gains because he has more confidence. He carries more corner speed. And as he is alongside, I basically know like he's going to dive bomb me. Here I already knew, and I was hoping to not lose too much speed, but as you can see, the BMW of Mr. Landolfi is already super close behind me, and I'm basically already defending at this point. I just wanted to keep my car clean here, so I didn't even go defensive, but look at what happens here. I give him plenty of space. Here also I give him plenty of space. Maybe I run him a little bit wide here, but he instantly re-aggresses. He starts running into me. And it was very clear to me that Mr. Landolfi was not fucking around and that he was very aggressive. So at this point I'm in the side route alongside nicely. Braking into the second chicane. And you can see there's quite a lot of rubbing. And I am just also fighting for space. If he doesn't give me space, you can see I'm just running him into the inside here. we are still touching, and I basically decide to let him go. And of course the BMW of Mr. Brandstetter makes glad use of that and goes through. Now it is extremely important to stay in the draft of the BMW ahead of me. That will provide me some safety from the car behind, and we can just run away as a pack. But they decide to fight instantly as they go very close into the technical section, here into the full speed left-hander. And it is very much about who has the best run out of this corner, because this straight is very long. But luckily I am still personally pretty much perfectly in the draft here, so as long as I don't make any mistakes, we should be good to go. And with a very nice exit out of the Parabolica, we are sure to get a very nice run on Mr. Brandstetter here. He does decide to go up the inside to defend, but we have so much overspeed. Look how much we almost cleared him before we actually arrive at the corner. He gives me enough space, I give him enough space, but as I'm in the inside of the second part of the chicane, I get the move done. Now it is very important for me to try and stay close with Mr. Landolfi, but as you can see, he's also quite quick, so it will be tough. I have to run a little bit defensive, but as you can see, I can give him plenty of space here. Important to get a good run out of this last part of the chicane, because as is normal in Monza, almost everything is about the corner exits. Now we skipped a lap ahead, into lap 5 we go, as I make a mistake and run wide out of the right-hander. And as you can see, it doesn't lose me that much time, only 3/10, but instantly Mr. Brandstetter is back on my tail as we go side by side again. And I just decide to let him go, because you know, these type of moves, they go right once, they go right twice maybe, but after a while you will start to risk it too much and you just lose out with a crash and you get out of the race. And as you can see, he went a bit squirrely into the technical section, but there was no chance for me to actually make use of it. With his biggest BMW, no way to get past. As he overbrakes a little bit into Parabolica, this surely gives me a nice run again into T1.
Time 1:52.18.
And it is always amazing to have these battles, you know, lap after lap, where you are very close, just switching positions. I know it loses time, I know it's not optimal, I know you want to extend your stint as much as possible, of course, but these battles, you know, that is what make racing fun to me. As we are still extremely close, heading up to the second chicane. Will he go for a move down the inside? No, he doesn't, and I was actually quite surprised of this. But we finally get moved on, and let's see if we can stay ahead of Mr. Brandstetter here. As I go a little bit wide again, but no big deal this time. And as you can see, as long as we get good exits, the gap stays relatively equal. Now we are a lap later, we are in lap 7. The gap is still about 0.3, 0.4, so he's still very much in the draft. And I get a good run heading into Parabolica. And as you can see, we are pretty much balancing the slide here. We are now for the first time in truly clean air, instantly setting a personal best, which isn't like an amazing lap, but for race pace it's actually pretty good, and I was pretty encouraged for this. as we get a picture perfect run out of T1. You can see Mr. Brandstetter has a little bit of trouble keeping up with this pace actually, so if we can keep this up and keep it consistent, we should be able to somehow drive away slowly. And of course I cock it up, I go wide into the second chicane. He's now firmly alongside me. I do have to leave him the space, and as he is on the inside I just decide to let him go. As I know we are basically both on the same page, and the Ferrari behind is actually at 1.1, 1.2. Maybe it's best to not fight too much and just drive together. As we are now in lap 9, still about the same gap, staying in his draft. He is not making any mistakes now anymore, and I am just following. And again a lap later, now in lap 10. And again a lap later, now in lap 11. Now this will be the in lap for our pit stops. We can do one more lap and then we have to come in. So this lap is pretty much vital. If I can pass him here on this lap, it would be ideal, as I would have track position heading into the pit stops. But it will of course not be easy. As I get a good run again on him, I realize I have to set up my pit stop. And he goes extremely squirrely out of the first chicane, and I am unable to make use of it as the BMW is just so big, and he was basically just planted on the exit of the corner, so no way to get past there. And I even had to slow down, as you can see in the delta, in order to not crash into him, so I also didn't get any of a run on him. And again he goes extremely squirrely. At this point he's very much overdriving the car, but he's still keeping his pace up quite decently. And this is the thing at Monza, you really need to get a run on somebody in order to actually get past. And as long as you stay in a train like this, you know, there's nothing you can really do other than to wait for him to make a mistake. And even then, it is just not guaranteed. Now we are coming in for the pit stop. As you know from me, most likely I generally cock up the in lap where I go way too slowly into the pits. Let's see if I do this here. And I thought that was actually pretty clean. Not too bad. I actually closed the gap even a little bit to him, so yeah, that was pretty good. As we have a 34-second pit stop. We need basically a full tank of fuel, so yeah, that takes quite a while. We are not changing tires, as you have to warm up the tires, and that takes a lot of time. And sadly, after the pit stops, here you can see Mr. Brandstetter ahead of me by 1 or 2 seconds. So we are now in 7th position. As the car of Mr. Collier in the Aston, same car as me, passes. He went into the pit a lap before. As the LMP start passing us for the first time. Very important to keep the car clean, stay predictable, don't do any crazy stuff. As we go into lap 14, and you can see we are closing the gap to Mr. Collier very rapidly as he is starting to make mistakes. I don't know if he have any damage on the car or he is just, I don't know, overdriving it a little bit. I have a little sniff down the inside as he goes that wide, but I think better of it. at this point I'm pretty confident that if I get a good run on this guy, I will be able to get past, so it's just waiting for the right moment. As I get a great run into the technical section, and are we rolling the dice? Of course we are. Down the inside, we are side by side, a little bit of contact, but as I edge ahead, he concedes the position and I am able to get on the throttle nice and early in order to protect myself as another LMP is passing me. Important to instantly get into the drag of him to get a little bit of an advantage, as there is an LMP on the inside of me and I get a slide on. I don't know if this was dirty air, me having too much speed, I don't know what it was, but I got a massive slide on. This obviously cost us a ton of speed, but we still have a nice run on Mr. Collier. We are at least in his draft, so everything is okay. Will we send it down the inside here into T1? There is a possibility he is leaving the gap open, but no, I think better of it, the gap is too big. As we get a clean run out of T1 again. And you can see the suck working, slowly closing the gap, closing the gap, closing the gap. And again we are very close, but not close enough to actually send it down the inside, so we will need to show a little bit more patience. And fair play to Mr. Collier, because he's driving quite cleanly here, no mistakes. He's just leaving the gap, the door closed, and yeah, no way for me to get past. And as you can see, I'm dropping quite a bit of time here on my delta. So as there is an LMP2 on the inside, and I remember this, as I still have a great run on Mr. Collier down the inside. As we go into the technical section, outbraking him, still on the inside, and I essentially have won the position before we are even into the corner. Now a lap later, you can see the gap to Mr. Collier is now 0.5.6, so we are actually protected from the draft. We are safely running away. Mr. Collier also made a small mistake, 2.3 seconds now, and it is whether about I can close the gap to Mr. Landolfi. Now let's see. We are in lap 18, lap 20, and the times are looking pretty much equal, so no real chance to gain. And as you can see, the leader LMP2 car is passing me here. As I massively cock up my braking zone, I have to go on the inside in order not to ram him, but as he went for the corner, I still have to ram him. I didn't realize it at the time, but this actually gave me suspension damage. I felt like such a dickhead, and I wasn't sure, like, would this be like the last lap or the penultimate lap? Would I have to do another one? But the car felt fine, at least through this section. Also into the braking zone, the car felt fine, so I was pretty confident I would be able to bring it home now from here. But into the right hander, you can see the car gets a massive slide on. I have to correct it just like the previous mistake. I go into the sand, and behind me, of course, there's Mr. Collier. Now, of course, he is smelling blood. He will think also like it's either the last lap or the penultimate lap. So he will go on the offensive. He might even smell the damage on my car. So yeah, I will have to drive very cleanly and defensively, as I just take a cut in order to drive the tightest line possible here. Maximize the speed out of the corner. Going into the penultimate corner, Parabolica. Brake deep. Just get a decent and tight run. And I was really hoping here, like, please let this be the last lap, please let this be the last lap. But of course later I realized, as the leader LMP car had just passed me, it would of course be the last lap yet. And as you can see, we finished the race in 6th position, which for split 1 of 4 on Monza, a track which I don't particularly like or practice all that much, was actually insane, and especially if you consider we start from 16th position. Now here I'm of course apologizing to Mr. Leclerc, the LMP car leader. He says no problem, and it is good to have that cleared up. As we take a look at the results, 6th position in split 1 of 6 actually. I thought it was 4, but split 6. Well, that's a very great result. And as you can see, here we go. We gained a ton of positions, and we actually gained a ton of driver rating from this one. And also still some safety rating, which I found surprising with all of the banging side to side with the Landolfi guy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. I have been OSW-Sim-Sports, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.